Part 2, the 7 Hermetic Principles, Thoth the Atlantean, the Emerald Tablets, psychedelics. You're going to love it. Peace. I've experimented with a lot of psychedelics in my life. I started off, the first psychedelic I ever had was psilocybin mushrooms. Kind of like the beginner's mushroom, I guess.
Yeah.
Me and a mate went to Tasmania and we did some mushies up in a little ancient rainforest that was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It was like all these ancient, massive trees, like trees that were like the thickness of half this room or 3/4 of this room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't wrap your hands around them. You need like 4 people
Yeah.
to wrap your hands. And I was just like, it felt like I could communicate with these trees. I'm like, hey, you're not bad. You're not bad.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect set and setting, I have to say. You know, we went over to Tassie, took a flight there, and just rented a car and just drove around and innocently did mushies.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Nice.
And that kickstarted it for me. It was probably about 2022.
Yeah.
And I started getting more into it after that. Started listening to Alan Watts, started, Terence McKenna, Ram Dass, and kind of started that spiritual journey from there.
Yeah.
Upping the doses, seeing the machine elves.
Machine elves.
Kind of like working on myself, doing the inner work, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of like came with it. I felt like it was a great tool for introspection and just like really figuring out what you want to get out of this life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What was your first experience with mushrooms or any psychedelic?
LSD. With my best friend I live with right now, Dan. I was at uni. This is maybe 5 years ago.
Yep.
So yeah, shit. I would have probably first had it when I was 24, 25.
Yep.
I was at uni. One of my good friends there, like this guy called Dallas, like absolute legend. I want to reach out to him.
Shout out to Dallas.
Yeah, his Aussie guy called Dallas.
Yeah, I was just like, is he American?
Yeah, such a dope name.
Yeah.
He like we talked about like Alan Watts. He's in my uni course and he was a bit older and we talked about like psychedelics and like Alan Watts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, have you ever done it? I was like, nah, I haven't. Really? All the shit you talk about, it's like you haven't done it? He's like, it's your birthday coming up, right? And I go, yeah. I'm gonna give you a couple of tabs.
Fuck yeah.
By that, I mean, I hear you going to your friend's beach house. Take these with you.
Wow.
And my mate Dan, who's like mad into what I was talking about right now as well, he just started doing his science course. He was just like expanding his mind, right?
Yeah.
He heard about psychedelics and was like, oh, I'm a bit scared. So he gave it to me in this Tupperware tub. I'll never forget this like basic lunchbox that had pretty much the hydrogen bomb of like psychedelics. Like he said, for your first one, I want you to go strong. I don't care. Like how strong is it? It's like strong. so I remember we had this Tupperware tub between us on this road trip.
Yeah.
And we're just staring at this thing like it's the fucking Ark of the Covenant. What's gonna come out of this thing?
Oh shit.
What's gonna come out of this thing, right? Like we really thought ghosts could just like appear to us later on in the night if we take this. And we're like, you know what? Like here goes nothing kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And it was us and maybe 2 other friends there as well. They were doing a couple of mushies, but we're the ones doing the tabs. So we're playing with this frisbee after we'd taken the tab. And the more we played this game, the slower it got.
Yeah.
Till pretty much the frisbee became a UFO. And we're on the beach and the water was like beautiful. We're playing synthwave music.
Dude.
Yeah, it was just... And at that moment, I saw everything connected. I saw trees morphing into each other that became human forms, almost like having sex with each other. Like it was this kind of like...
interwovenness.
Literally, for my first trip, it was like taking like 5 grams of mushrooms, man. It was
wow. Throwing you in the deep end.
Yeah, it's deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your mate said, he wanted you to have a strong dose.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I couldn't remark of a greater time. That and a second experience of mine, which I haven't actually told anyone, which I hold very dear. But I'll ask you yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
In regards to my experience with mushrooms or
Yeah.
psychedelics.
Well, with psychedelics, I mean, your ayahuasca journeys are incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk about my first ayahuasca journey. I'd done DMT, right? First time I did DMT, my mate did this same thing that your mate did to you. He's like, yeah, he can handle it. Fuck it, give him a strong dose. He might learn something. So I did that, and I saw what I saw, the whole Zeus thing and gutter stomping me and all that. So kind of like got me on my path. A couple of years later, I was like, yeah, I'm drawn. I'm feeling this drawn, like this pull to do ayahuasca. And one of my mentors at the time, a shaman, his name is Dennis Herbert, fucking amazing guy. He's no longer with us in present. He passed away 6-7 years ago. But he got me on a list, and I was able to do ayahuasca, and that was at the time the most remarkable thing I've ever done. Yeah, so this is my story of the void. First ayahuasca ceremony I've ever been to. It was quite eye-opening. It's like 30 people, big group ceremony, a lot of people playing instruments, lovely music playing. It's like a real homely kind of feel, tribal feel. At the same time, I can also hear people vomiting, screaming. This fucking blissful mayhem, right? And people running to the toilet. It was interesting, to say the least. I sit in front of the shaman, have one cup of this ayahuasca. And about after 20 minutes, it starts working its magic. I drink it, I go sit down, I start just doing breath work to kind of initiate it. And in 20 minutes, I closed my eyes. It was the most remarkable thing. I closed my eyes, and then I saw 1 million eyes looking back at me. And I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? There's so much more than we can see. And at that point of time, it honestly felt like I was back in the womb. Like I was in a womb or something. Like it was incredible. I felt like some form of like a nothingness predating before I was born.
Yeah.
The second night I had 2 cups. So how ayahuasca works is you take one, and then the next night you'll kind of up the dose, go a bit stronger. I had the first one, and then I felt a bit like something was wrong. Within 15 minutes, I threw up. I ran to the toilet.
Yeah.
And just got there in time. Oh, actually, no, I didn't make it to the toilet. I threw up in a basin, just like a hand wash basin.
I'd assume people were just throwing up on the ground in these ceremonies.
Yeah. Everyone had a bucket.
Yeah.
Next to them, so they could throw up in a bucket.
Fair enough.
If they were going to shit themselves, they'll shit in a bucket.
Yeah.
I managed to get to a hand wash basin, and I threw up this like just fucking purple bile.
Had you eat? You hadn't eaten it at all?
You don't eat.
Yeah,
you don't
of course.
eat. Yeah, you're fasting.
Yeah.
So after that process happened, about 45 minutes later, I decided to have another cup. I waited a bit.
Yeah.
Take the other cup. Sit back down, and I don't notice too much. And then there was a big bonfire. I could smell smoke from a fire. So I went outside, and I sat next to the bonfire. I was just sitting next to the bonfire looking at this fire. And there was something about this fire. I was just hypnotized by it, yeah? I was just staring at it maybe for 2 hours. I don't know how long, but I was just staring at it and just looking at it for what seemed to be like a lifetime, yeah? And I'm a fire sign. I'm a Sagittarius. So it kind of makes sense. Like, I'm drawn to fire. I like tending to fires and just I love looking at it. It's something primal, yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah. there was a guy next to me, and he was doing the same thing, and he was smoking a cigarette, and I asked him, "Hey, can I smoke can I roll one?" So we rolled a cigarette, and we start talking, and we keep looking at the fire. A little bit of time goes past, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Hey, want to go smoke a joint?" And I'm like, blew my mind, bro. I'm like, fuck. That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. That's incredible. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll do that. So
Why not?
yeah. So we go to the cars, we roll the joint, walk about 100 meters away from where we're doing it, like where the ceremony's taking place, and like the shaman's like, no one's allowed to smoke weed, this and that. Like we had to like full hush. So yeah, we go to some like an oval far away.
Yeah.
And it was a real clear night, and you could see all the stars. So we light the joint, take a few tokes, and at the time we started talking about DNA codons and how there's so much empty space inside our DNA, and how they could be, like, what would a human look like, or what would a human be if like all that space was filled up? Like, that's what we're talking about, right? And then I started just pondering that, and I was like looking up into the sky, and I was just like, this is amazing. I went like this. I was just like taking it all in, right? And then all the stars turned into the flower of life, right? And they turned into the golden flower of life, and it fully encapsulated my vision, right? And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And I felt like real faint, like I was fighting it, yeah? And my body instinctively wanted to drop. Like I was about to just go, yeah? And I fought it. I go to my mate, dude, I'm fucked, I'm gonna fall over. But what I should have done is I should have just fell over. But anyway, he walks me to his car, and then I get to his car, I sit down in his chair, in the seat, instantly pass out. Instantly just passed out straight away. And where I went was what I reckon is the void. That's where I went. Because I left my body, and I went to a place that there was nothing, absolute nothingness, yeah? In all directions. Yet I was conscious awareness in that space. And it wasn't scary. It felt really relaxing, yeah? It felt like I was at peace. It felt like I had been there before, which is really strange. Infinite darkness in all directions. Some people call it the ninth dimension, primordial substrate of creation. I believe that's where the flower of life, consciousness, where the flower of life created consciousness itself by drawing the first initial circles.
So it's a reflection of the divine.
Yes.
It's the halls of Amenti.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the real thing, but a reflection.
Yes.
It's like the in-between.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was like an in between.
Yeah.
It was interesting why the golden light took me there.
Yeah. And
to this day, I'm still trying to work it out, to be honest. But yeah, after 5 to 10 minutes of human time, my mate puts his hand on my chest. It's actually his birthday today, my mate Manny. Shout out to Manny, what a nade.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah. He puts his hand on my chest, and I instantly came back to my body, like straight away, yeah? And as I started to reclaim my body, something felt different. It felt like my DNA was upgraded. Like, it took a minute to get back into my body, but it felt like I was fucking supercharged, dude.
Yeah.
It felt like my DNA codons were like upgraded.
Yeah.
It was super strange.
Oh shit.
And like I could do a backflip, or I was just fucking ready to do anything.
Yeah.
It was like a reset, dude.
Yeah.
never experienced anything like that until I went to Peru and did ayahuasca there, and that's a whole nother story in itself. That's a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole fucking journal on it.
Yeah. Wow.
Deciphering all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of knowledge that they taught me in that. It's like your second one that you keep to yourself.
Oh, this one actually, I haven't tried to keep it to myself, but I just haven't had anyone to tell it to. I mean, it might be similar to others who may have experienced it, but mine was at Rainbow Serpent.
Oh, Rainbow.
Yeah.
That's sick.
5 years ago now?
Yep.
A little bit longer?
Yep.
Taken 2 tabs of acid, very strong ones, and did quite a bit of MDMA at the same time. So
Candy flipping.
And so this is like maybe a 20-hour, maybe a little bit plus escapade.
Yeah, that's good, man.
So like, you literally you ain't got shit to do tomorrow. You're just doing it.
You're at Rainbow.
So you're partying all night. It was great. It's great. And then like I noticed I had more energy than everybody else, and like I was pretty much up until like the sun was rising on a nice warm summer's day where the night was cold, but it was just like you could see vapors like coming off the water, and you're just seeing like little like puffs of smoke like around you as the sun rose in this like beautiful countryside area.
Wow.
And I thought I have all this energy, but I'm just gonna lie down. Like I'm not hallucinating anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna lie down. I just feel good, and this is just like I'm welcoming Ra. Basically, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Wow.
The sun is rising.
Yep.
I lay back, and then over my eyes, this blue azure, like infinite azure. It's like an ocean in the sky, but it had little puffs of like white clouds, which became translucent dragons. Wow. And they were going for like infinite, like just like an infinite void of blue. They were just like basically traveling through. And like something about it was like,
cool.
Something about the feeling was like, it was something along the lines of very few are actually shown this. And this is like more or less indescribable wisdom taught by the sages. Wow. Of like the place beyond, like of just like the, every time you see a dragon, like it's a big fucking deal.
Dude, 100%.
It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Like whether you're a Buddhist, whether you're an ancient Egyptian, you're Greek, Hindu, you see a serpent, you see a dragon, like it's
real powerful shit, dude.
Yeah. It's I mean, yeah, I can see your wall here. It's like it doesn't matter. It's the universal language.
Yeah, it transcends.
Serpents.
Yeah.
Dragons, same thing. And when you see them in the sky and you see them as spirit form, it's like, I don't know, I've been told something here, and I keep being reminded of it.
Yeah. That's some very powerful stuff, man.
Yeah.
I've seen a dragon before, while on psychedelics. I did a 5-gram Terence McKenna dose.
Yeah, heroic. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw this dragon, right?
Yeah.
I closed my eyes and it was a nuclear dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was like a nuclear dragon, right? But this dragon was kind of like the Dragon Ball Z dragon.
Yeah, Shenron.
Right? Yeah. It was like him. And it was just just going everywhere, and then it just came at my face and just ate me. He just like went into me. Like and I was just and to this day I'm just like, dude, dragons were real. Dragons. There was definitely dragons. I don't know, something about that. It's continued in history for so long. I feel like maybe they just got wiped out by humans.
Yeah, well, literal or non-literal, like it doesn't really matter if they're physical or non-physical. Like their power is known.
Yeah.
Like we all articulated them in art. People we've never met.
Yeah.
In art, in religions, like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And the feathered serpent is another one we talk about, and that's related to our final topic.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yep.
It's like it's no coincidence that a serpent is shown, because serpent is interchangeable with dragon. The dragon as we know it, the non-Western dragon, is often always a serpent. Yeah. Even the Western depictions of this dragon has a long neck, so it's always a coil. So it's always some kind of snake, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Snake shedding its skin. It either represents rebirth or some kind of shadow.
Yep.
It's a very powerful symbol.
Definitely.
And you know, it's no doubt it's like in like the in our Christian iconography, which is more modern than the more ancient ones, that we talk about snakes.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Who fully knows?
Yeah. And in the Greek Orthodox, in the scriptures, they talk about vanquishing, how the saints would vanquish all these snakes, like they were our nemesis, or something like that.
Yep.
But I kind of feel like there was a time where everyone got along.
Yeah.
Maybe that was pre-Younger Dryas.
Yeah.
Maybe people learned to live in unison.
Yeah.
With these mythical beings.
Mm.
You know, they're only mythical to us.
Yeah.
Because they're not around at this point of time.
Yeah.
But part of me feels like they were a powerful part of the human experience as a whole.
Mm.
And that's why they're still kept in our psyches through myth, through folklore.
Yep.
And through psychedelic experiences. Trying to say, hey, you know, what's going on? We're still here.
Well,
in the spirit realm.
Ideas are more powerful than physical things. I actually put more merit on ideas, on thoughts, than physical ideas.
You can't kill an idea.
You can't kill an idea. Like you got Guy Fawkes everywhere.
He's over there.
Yeah.
He's actually got batteries in him. He talks.
yeah. Or V. Not
V.
Yeah, I mean it's like V's just carrying the idea, right?
100%.
And it's like
they're bulletproof.
They're bulletproof, and so incarnations of people is very interesting. Christ complex, Christ consciousness, should I say, is more powerful than the physical man that existed.
Oh, 100%.
Like the physical man that existed was just a poor carpenter who claimed he was the son of God. You'd think he was a crazy person.
Yeah.
But the idea he generated around himself, like
created a tidal wave of consciousness.
Oh, tidal wave is an understatement.
Yeah, well, 100%.
He made religions who worshipped like Thor and like Odin like bow to a carpenter. Like,
yeah,
they eventually turned to those.
Legit.
Everyone. Yeah, everyone fell.
Yeah. That's how powerful.
Yeah, this is the first time a god can be someone like your neighbor. It's unheard of.
Yeah, every religion had their ancient ways.
Yep.
If it was the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, the Scandinavian gods like Thor and Odin, those guys, or
they're always unreachable.
Yeah,
they're always unreachable until Jesus came along.
Yeah,
you'd even argue that guys like Prometheus were ones who had actually had broken the barrier. The Titans who gave the fire to the humans and that kind of stuff, but they were still more or less unreachable because they were like larger than life.
Correct.
While Jesus wasn't.
He was a common man.
Common man.
Yeah. And we can relate more to a common man than a god.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm not even Christian, and I'm in awe of like Jesus. Like I wouldn't set foot in a freaking church. But
same. I only go to church when there's a wedding or a funeral. Generally, I won't go to Sunday service. It's not really my kind of thing.
It's different with the Greek fan, though. You guys like party and you guys party on those religious days, right?
Yeah, I'm not really that religious though. I've never really been.
Yeah, you're definitely not. I can tell.
yeah, more spiritual. I'd say.
Spiritual, it's different.
But there's a lot of teachings there that are valuable.
Yeah,
and Jesus did make a big impact.
Well, he's like the ultimate alchemist.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like he sacrificed his own body to influence an entire world for many generations to come.
How many generations have there been in 2,000 years? 100 generations, maybe more.
I think our law systems, the drive to build things, to pioneer. I mean, like the Puritans that created America were driven by Christ's willingness, like the missionaries.
Yep.
To find a new world and to spread their ideas.
Yeah. And to preach the gospel.
To preach the gospel.
Yeah.
And they from there you have the, you know, Rome 2.0, you know.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still around to this day.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see if science takes that over. It looks like it could possibly.
Do you feel like science has like a longing though? There's this kind of sense that the people who believe in science to a high level degree almost have this like religious zeal about it, you know?
Of science itself.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if it's outside of science, then therefore it can't be real.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
In some people. But then there's also a lot of people that, you know, they'll use logic and science and all that kind of stuff, but they will believe in a higher being.
Yep.
Or I think that sounds more rational than just being closed-minded to just science.
Yep.
Especially when you throw psychedelics into the mix.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Definitely. Throw a spanner in those works.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the next topic is ancient civilizations. We've got Thoth the Atlantean. We've got the emerald tablets there that's been on the table for ages. That's right, the emerald tablets translated by Do Real, but put together by Billy Carson.
Yeah. But has passed through many hands, has been translated many times.
That it has.
The logos, or the original language, has been distilled many, many times. And so you have an English translation, which probably isn't close to the real thing, to be honest.
And it comes off a Latin or who knows?
Who knows? It was probably butchered when it was first put into Greek or something like that.
Yeah, those Greeks, they're a bit lazy. No, joking.
But thanks to the Greeks, we have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine how much more ancient knowledge they would have had if they didn't burn the Library of Alexandria. Oof.
I know,
They had
right?
a million scrolls, dude.
It's a beautiful mystery in itself, though, right?
That it is. I think if I would travel, like if I was able to time travel,
Yeah.
I've always said I'd go back to the Library of Alexandria.
Yep.
That's the place that I would love to see.
I came across that first in Carl Sagan's Cosmos.
That's where I came across it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was going to be a space documentary, but then he mentioned that. I'm like, really, a library would had that much of an impact? Because we would have been on the moon like 200 years earlier. I'm like, all right, I got to look into this. And,
Yeah, that's what I did.
yeah,
I find Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson's all right.
yeah.
But Carl Sagan's the OG.
Oh, he's the man.
He's the man, 100%.
Yeah, he's the man.
I rate
The student couldn't outdo the mentor in that case.
No, 100%, 100%. And he's the guy that I look up to more.
Yeah.
Definitely.
More humble too.
Yeah, he is. I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson's got a bit of an ego
He's
to
a bit
him.
of a dick.
Yeah, he is. He was quite rude.
Yeah.
He was very rude to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I found that quite surprising.
Yeah. But no, a fascinating guy, but yeah, a bit of a dick.
Yeah. Now Hermes Trismegistus, or Thoth, or the god Apollo.
Yeah.
And this guy has many names.
Yeah.
He's able of reincarnation. Who knows? Maybe he could be Shiva himself as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
This guy, I reckon he was the architect of the pyramids.
Yeah. So on that point, on the mystery of the pyramids, archaeologists have their records set to about 3000 BC, right?
Yeah.
Who was the pharaoh? It was
Armin Khan? Armin van Buren.
Above and Beyond. Those two.
Armin Khartam or
yeah. It's the Great Pyramid, Khufu.
Khufu.
Yeah, Khufu.
Khufu.
So yeah, they said Khufu. He made the majority of the pyramids. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's what's like written in textbooks. When they asked the villagers close by and many of the surrounding people who've been around the Giza Plateau for many generations, they have actually a different story. They actually describe the earliest builders in the earliest dynasty as relating to a name that sounds spookily like Enoch.
Enoch.
Enoch. So like Enoch is like said to be the great grandfather of Noah, who essentially was a man who went to heaven before he was dead. The only person that actually got to heaven before he was dead because God
Wow.
loved him so much.
Jeez, what a good
And
bloke.
he was pre-diluvian, and was said to have told of a time in which humans have gone too far. They've learnt too much, and for their knowledge, they will be destroyed.
Wow.
That echoes the Atlantean story about how the supposedly Atlantis existed. They through their hubris, they destroyed themselves, and the civilizations were scattered to the four corners of the globe.
Yep.
So we have all this like discarded knowledge and all kinds of like basically what sounds like absolute sci-fi disparity of ideas. Like there's no clear thread here.
No.
But when more and more geological data comes out about, for instance, the Sphinx having water erosion that
Correct.
could possibly equal 12,000, 14,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these stories about a possible figure, like mystical figure or powerful, like almost Arthurian, like pre-Arthurian figure,
Yeah.
having built these incredible landscapes seems quite plausible.
It does. It
Yeah.
does, especially after Robert Scotch.
Shock,
Robert Shock. Robert Scotch.
Scotch. Yeah, we had the Scotch, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, since he did that.
Yeah.
That carbon dating, or and they've been doing lidar as well.
Yeah.
Making it, proving that it is pre-diluvian. That really, like, for me, that just shows that these structures have been around for so much longer than the Egyptologists are saying.
100%.
They've also discovered there's stuff under the Sphinx as well. Also the face, the chambers under the Sphinx, and apparently that's got some knowledge that that's the whole reason what the Sphinx was guarding, right? Also, the Sphinx's face has been manipulated and changed. Potentially, there could be something there.
Potentially a lion because it faces the constellation of Leo.
Yeah,
apparently,
yeah.
according to Graham Hancock. Yeah.
Yep. So there could be things might have been altered.
Yeah.
Because shit, it's been around for that long.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one to wrap your head around. That's for sure.
It is, because you're trying to draw, because you have to look at it like in like at least three levels. You've got the spiritual, archaeological, then you've got the actual historical data.
Yeah.
And the historical data always falls short of like what's being described here. It's like
exactly
what has been built here cannot be built in any other way. Has not been replicated.
Never.
But it has been replicated in interesting ways. Like, why is there pyramids popping up all over the earth?
Yeah, well, that's right. They've got pyramids in China. They're finding pyramids all over the place now.
Yep. And they're built for very similar reasons. Supposedly face, in alignment with, cosmic setups, like the stars and the constellations and things like that. But relating back to Hermes.
Yep.
So Hermes Trismegistus, for those who are like in occult circles probably know the name, but I came across it first when I was watching a famous documentary called Magical Egypt.
Magical Egypt.
And for those who have never heard of Hermes...
It's John Anthony West.
Yeah. A documentary about Egypt, but not in the conventional sense. It was looking at the spiritual codings and the symbols presented and showing them in a way that gives you actually a much more clearer picture of why they built certain things. And that these were actually... Everything they built was divine ideas given architectural form. They weren't built as tombs or whatever. There was actually a lot of synchronicity. And they actually spurred the ideas of like the founding fathers of America, like all these secret societies and things like that. Took this knowledge. Basically, yeah.
The Masons.
Basically, what was hidden, shrouded, was the knowledge of the mystery schools, the secret schools who would teach ideas that would, build civilizations for many years to come.
Of course.
Headed at the foot of this was this character called Hermes Trismegistus, which was actually named by the Greeks, but the Egyptians knew him as Thoth.
Yep.
the god of writing, supposed god of writing and knowledge,
Yeah.
but was the only god in the Egyptian pantheon who was more than likely a man who they actually deified. A man who showed up out of nowhere and gave the Egyptians knowledge.
Yeah. They also reckon that he manifested in South America as well. And he taught the South Americans how to build their pyramids, which are more kind of like a step pyramid, but a similar kind of design and, you know, possibly used as a power source. You know,
they find mica in the structure of those pyramids.
Mica.
It's used for conducting electricity.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, it's like there's like no reason. Graham talks about this in Fingerprints. I think there's like a compound called mica. I don't know the exact specifics, but it's like you'd have to put that in there for a reason. It's actually used to conduct electricity or things like that.
Yeah. They could have had like a unlimited energy power source.
Yeah.
Pre-Diluvian, and everything could have been working perfectly fine up until a massive cataclysm, which caused the human race to have amnesia, as Graham puts it. Yeah. And then we're still trying to find out to this day what it is. Yeah. It's a very interesting one. But yeah, Hermes or Thoth, he feels like one of the most powerful beings. Yeah. Like I resonate with him the most out of all. I guess that's why I got you to put him in the intro. Yeah. And the knowledge and the wisdom that he has passed down, it almost feels like he's the one that has been able to teach the human race to not only do good, but to look within themselves, and also to kind of kickstart this potential agrarian culture or agrarian society where people were able to kind of rebuild themselves after this massive, you know, because they do say that he was a king of Atlantis, right? Yeah. And he, being the deity that he is, thousands of years, he can reincarnate, he can do this. He's a god. Yeah. His intent was for good. And to continue on that wisdom and that Hermetic knowledge is, in my eyes, probably the most important thing for human consciousness to get to the next level. Yep. 100%.
Yep. Big time. Big time. We should also mention why he's actually called Hermes in our Western context. Yep. Because the Greeks took a big liking to the Egyptian pantheon. And,
we did.
And saw their counterparts. Probably the strongest of which being Thoth. They actually translated as being Hermes in their pantheon. Yep. So he has the exact same duties. Yep. Hermes is different to the other gods because he's actually the god that's more human-like. He's the one that's actually about commerce and the day-to-day lives of people, much like Thoth was in giving knowledge to the Egyptians, as described. Yep. But one of Hermes' jobs was going to the underworld and guiding souls backwards and upwards, as above, so below.
Wow.
And teaching people to go beyond.
Yeah. Pushing the limits.
Pushing the limits. The only god doing that. Yeah. Hades just takes you.
Yeah, exactly. Hades is just like, hey, come on down, come on down.
Like, there's really no choice in the Greek world, the classic Greek world and the myth world. While Hermes is one as a mediator. Yes. Yeah.
Between those worlds.
Between those extremes. Yeah. And I think Thoth was much the same as well. He was always solving problems between human life and the divine.
Yeah, definitely a problem solver. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because we talk about a physical man and also God. So this is what we describe as legend. Legend is like can't confirm or deny, but there was something.
Yeah. 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 Oh, it's an incredible. It's incredible rabbit hole, that's for sure.
It is.
But it's something that I will continue to always, learn and research more. And these emerald tablets,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where they are, or the Rosetta Stone, or
Well, there's a couple of translations of the Emerald Tablet. There's the Emerald Tablets and there's the Emerald Tablet. You know, the short excerpt that says separate the gross from the fine. It's what an alchemist would have in his as a scroll on his back wall, which is meant if you know it, you can unlock your philosopher's stone. Apparently, like the philosopher's stone being your soul's essence, your reason for like basically becoming a divine enlightened being. But your stone is different to everybody else. There were many translations. One of them was Isaac Newton.
wow.
Isaac Newton was big on this, plus many of the other founding fathers of the United States later on. And so the succession continues. There's knowledge passed between them. This is so exciting. There's so many different pathways here, but it all relates back to this Hermes character.
Yeah.
And they all believe deeply in the knowledge here. But this culminated in what we actually want to talk about, a book called... there's the Emerald Tablet, which is a bit more deeper, but one which is more accessible if you want to actually know about Hermeticism is the Kybalion.
The Kybalion, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beginner's guide.
Yep. And that instates the 7 Hermetic Principles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And once you have an understanding of that, you want to know what this is all about. So you might look into the Corpus Hermeticum.
Definitely.
It's deeper. That's if your mind is actually open.
Yeah.
And then you move to the Emerald Tablets.
Yeah. You can't just jump straight to the Emerald Tablets. I got a photo of those Emerald Tablets, and like a high res photo.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at them going, how the fuck am I going to decipher these?
Yeah.
You can't start there.
You can't start there. It's too deep. It just sounds like you're reading sci-fi.
Exactly.
But if you have the context, and like in the book it says, if you have the, for those who can read between the lines, this will make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For those who laugh, they laugh.
And that's like, if you've got that ability to read between the lines, then you can get those little knowledge bombs, and figure it out for yourself. It's deep, but it's there.
It's there.
It's there.
It's
That's
there.
the thing. So
we've got to talk about the principles.
yes, we've got to talk about the principles.
Yeah.
Right, so the first principle of is the principle of mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental. So I've been thinking, like, we can go through them, but how does someone implement these?
Well, I think we need to talk about what they are first.
Yeah, we'll talk about what they are first.
So, universe is mental. Okay, so I think we all have a primer about this. I think we've all been told through many disparate, often contradictory writings and self-help books about, you are who you think you are, or you are what you eat, or it's like energy flows where attention goes.
Yeah.
You hear all this stuff since you're a little kid. That's actually a very powerful thing to say.
It is.
It's not trite, because what you're actually saying in that is that your mental universe governs the world around you.
Exactly.
So, we often assume that things are material, but they're actually mental. So how you think about your day could very much affect how you think about yourself could very much affect what you expect to come towards you. You ever met someone with a strong victim mentality?
Yes.
Someone who, woe is me, and everything is bad.
Yeah. Me, poor me.
And they show their belly, and the predators come.
Yeah.
They just flock.
Yeah.
And those predators are not, physical harm, but they're just they appear combative, and so they invite more combative people to attack them.
Yeah.
And so they live in a world of conflict because they generate conflict. And so their mental universe has created
so much conflict
in their lives. And then while someone on the opposite, someone who breeds love, someone who wants to be a fount of wisdom and knowledge and wants to give it to as much people as possible, will generate love tenfold, even if they're ostracized for it.
True, very true.
And every successful person in the world has been someone who has had like irrational self-belief, and it's just come true. And so your actual mental state can actually change the physical properties of the universe as a result.
100%.
And it's been repackaged as like the law of attraction by some who are charlatans.
But self-help, making money.
But it all relates back to mystery school knowledge. That's tens of thousands longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It always goes back to that.
Yep.
100%. In regards to the principle of mentalism, all is mind and the universe is mental, you can kind of look at it like the whole universe is experiencing itself as one, and we are all a part of that universe, right?
Yeah.
We've got our within, but we are also as above, so below.
Yeah.
So we are all God. We are all an expression of God.
Yeah.
Just kind of like God wanted to make it interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he created this hyper complex.
He allowed us to play dress
universe.
ups, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what the law of mentalism is kind of pertaining to.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know, like that and correspondence, which is the second principle, the principle of correspondence, they kind of work together.
They do.
And I think that forms the basis of the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if one was to apply those two principles to their everyday life, like moving forward, I think the best way to do that would be to take care of your thoughts.
Yeah.
To really just like understand that you might think that you don't have control of your thoughts, but you do.
You do.
You really do. And like if you have a negative thought, for example, like whatever it could be I'm poor, I don't have enough money, or my financial situation is terrible, it's always going to be like this, or a lot of people, I'm not good enough. That seems to be a big thing at the moment with social media. Or you feel like you have a sense of hopelessness. Any negative thoughts that feel true to you at that time, you can choose to not accept that thought. And then you can just say, no, I don't believe that, right? And you can start to reprogram your mind to say, I don't accept those thoughts. You know, like whether or not like if you're alone, you should probably say that out loud. But if you're in a social setting, say it within yourself.
Yeah.
But actively like have that awareness of when you feel that doubt.
Yeah.
To do something about it straight away and to reaffirm that you are enough, or you do have enough money, or you will manifest money if that seems to be an issue.
Yeah.
Or you do have control over your life. Like, I believe that positive affirmations can go a long way.
They can. They can. But if we're talking about mentalism and correspondence in relation to actually changing your life, it's the understanding that you're actually not separate from God.
Yep.
That if you are God, then everything exists within you.
Exactly.
And it's just a matter of what you want to concentrate on. And then you manifest that as a result of what's clearly capable in your being, because you're God. Like, what else?
What else is there?
What else is there?
Yeah.
Because you can go either way. Like, seemingly very weak people can also do things which like completely obliterate the world. Like you know, give an example, like, you know, Adolf Hitler was an artist who was rejected from art school.
Yeah, I was thinking of Hitler as you said that.
That sent him on a path of like
destruction and mayhem. Starting World War II.
Which inadvertently, that rejection may have actually fueled that fire.
Definitely would have done an impact.
Sure. You know, that's as above, so below. The lowest can also come back the other way.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not a static being. You're actually capable of all heavens and hells, like within you.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Mentalism is this thing where you generate that, whatever that whatever that essence it is that's in you. If you concentrate on that part of you,
you'll manifest it.
You'll manifest that constantly.
Yeah.
Even the things you don't want, you know, you kind of go like, I don't want to get into a car accident. I don't want to get into a car accident. I don't want to get into a car accident. You're actually attracting that like a magnet to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're thinking about it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, 100%, man.
Then you drive too cautiously. You're like,
and then you cause an accident as a result. Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah. It's I guess these like like that way to help positive affirmations to reaffirm,
Yeah.
to start to reprogram one's mind
Yeah.
would help someone that's in a very victim mentality.
Yeah.
That's probably like a start that someone could do. That's just learning about a stoic mindset or something like that, and becoming more anti-fragile. You can definitely, there's definitely like a lot of validity there to be able to say to yourself, look, I control my being, and any thoughts I have are my own. I can create my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And in that regard.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
and like that's a very nice way of saying it, because like Jordan Peterson would say that weak people do very, very horrible things. So you
That's true.
So you should be strong in terms of yourself, because you
100%.
learn self-control. You learn to sheath your sword.
Correct.
As a result too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like what's really pertinent in films like Joker and like, you know, Taxi Driver, Scorsese.
Yeah.
Is like is when a weak person is driven to like back against the wall. I've got nothing else to do. Like that's when like
run rampant.
That's when they run rampant, and it's like this weak person now becomes the tyrant.
Yeah, just like Hitler got rejected from art school.
Or Germany's entire state at that point was like we're the boot heel of
Europe.
The world.
Yeah,
of Europe, and
do something about it.
Something about it. It's like you want to do good in the world. Be strong.
100%, man. Like you were saying before, like MMA actually humbles you. Yeah. Like, you know, this dickhead didn't open the door for me, or that person was rude, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm not going to let it affect my inner state of being.
Exactly. It's almost like automatic. It's like on a really like wet and windy day here. You talk to someone you don't know, like a bank teller or you're at the 7-Eleven or something like that. You're like, hey, how you going? And they're just kind of like,
Yeah,
you just kind of feel like a tool for being nice.
I cop that a bit.
Yeah,
I try to liven someone's day, and they're like, "Nah, fuck ya.
Yeah, fuck
I've fucking had it. I'm not fucking
And then the part of your brain is like, I gotta change that person. I'm angry at that person for being a dick, and you're like, that's pointless, you know?
Yeah, it is. Like I remember I was driving to work today, and someone indicated to go into my lane. They were literally next to me, and they swerved into my lane, and I kind of like swerved half out of my lane to make sure they didn't hit me, and that person obviously felt like an idiot, right? Because they didn't see me. I would have been in their blind spot.
Yeah,
but I didn't get angry. I wasn't upset.
Yeah.
I was in a tradie car, like a ute, so then they would have been really scared, right? Yeah. And I slowed down, and I'm just like, I gave them a thumbs up, like, hey, we avoided a collision. And they were like, oh, thank you, don't kill me. And like, I was just like, yeah, there's no need.
Yeah.
There was no need. Like, what would have... Like, what would I have achieved by getting angry?
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like getting angry. I was just like, oh, wow, they swerved into my lane. They nearly hit my car, but I was able to move out of the way and, you know, avoid a collision.
Yeah.
Hey, we avoided a collision. That's fantastic. We can both go to work and not have to, like, get our licenses and do all this bullshit and, like, fill out forms and do insurance. Yeah, there's two ways of always looking at things. Yeah. And it's very powerful.
It is. But that'll bring us to one of the later principles as well.
Yeah.
The two ways of looking at things. Glass half full. We've been told of these things since we were a little kid.
We have.
You're a glass half full kind of person?
I'm a glass half full kind of person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But either person is right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. The third Hermetic principle is the principle of vibration.
Vibration.
Yeah.
In our materialistic mindset, we all know that everything vibrates. We can all be in agreement there.
Yep.
Everything vibrates. The only difference between forms of matter is their degree of vibration. Correct. This is backed up by
science.
We can see it with our own eyes. Some things vibrate so intensely that they appear to be at rest. Yep.
Wow.
Could be planet Earth. We can't see it spinning. It's constant. And often things of higher vibration tend to be a bit stronger, to put it simply.
Yeah.
However, your emotions are vibrations.
That's exactly right.
So we relate this back to ourselves and personal development. When you feel like you're angry, it feels like a fire, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Fire is atoms at such a rate. Is probably the most simplest layman's terms way of describing it. It's just like a lot of just, this can cause a fire, right?
Yep.
In ourselves, that can cause the very same thing. When we lower that vibration in ourselves, often that relates to those kind of calmer states, those gamma waves in meditation.
Yep.
The same feelings you get when you pray and like feel at one, those like calmer states.
There's bliss states.
Bliss states. So with the knowledge of this in your body, and the techniques available to us, you can move along these vibrational states. However, this is not a law, and this is an immutable law, right? You can't just like get rid of it. It's always just going to be there.
It's constant.
It's a constant. So in order to actually alter it, you must relate to the first most important ones, like mentalism.
Yeah.
Your thoughts will govern that vibration.
Correct.
100%.
Yeah. When you have a good what I've wrote for this one, when you have a good thought, embrace it, hold it, and maintain that vibration.
Yep.
That feeling, that sense of bliss, gamma.
Yep.
Try to be in that vibration as long as possible.
Yep.
Emotions are vibration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Man, you said it.
Perfect. No, you said it. You said it. You wrote it down. That's poetic as fuck. That's so good.
We'll go to the fourth. The principle of polarity.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting.
Yeah. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths, like the glass half full. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Love and hate are the same emotion, but they're just different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And you can raise and lower that vibration by doing this. You can control your feelings.
Yep. Yep.
There's so much power in that.
There is, and like you could spend. I think polarity is like where the work is.
Yeah,
that's where the work is.
That's where the deep work is.
That's where the work is. That's where you're gonna get your ass kicked some days.
Yeah.
And go like, how do I get out of this mood?
Yeah.
I'm on this pole right now. How do I shift? And so, to give you a practical step here, anyone listening, is that every emotion, there's no point at which hot becomes cold or cold becomes hot, or angry becomes sad or sad becomes angry. They're all just on a spectrum.
Yeah.
We can all agree here. There's no like, there's no hard mathematical line in your emotions.
No.
Because it would make sense.
No.
Nor would it make any sense for natural phenomena. There's no point at which the sky is considered sunny. We just have a feeling about it. It's a spectrum. But all of this oscillates on the same pole, and so this is demonstrated very clearly in where you have a fight with someone you really love. Maybe often with partners, you can almost kill them on that very spot.
Yeah.
How angry you are, but then you swing between these two feelings of anger, love, anger, love, anger, love, anger, love, anger, love, and you realize it's like a little pendulum.
Fucking pendulum, exactly, man.
It's a pendulum.
Yeah.
And so this is with anxiety too. It's huge with anxiety.
Oh, 100%.
You know when you're so anxious, but then you have weird moments of just like I'm calm. Oh, I'm anxious again.
Yeah, you get this like sense of clarity, and then it comes back.
Clarity, yeah.
Yeah.
And so someone who understands polarity of things sees that like they actually exist on the same plane. Therefore, you can set yourself on that spectrum.
Yeah.
And with a conscious act of will, as it says in the Kabbalion, it's willpower.
Willpower.
It's not denial. It's not I'm gonna take this drug and feel better.
Yeah.
That's only momentary release.
Yeah.
It is conscious willpower to change your vibration. You relate back to earlier laws. You use laws with each other.
Yep.
But the most important being believing you can.
100%, dude. 100%.
Mentalism.
That is so true. Like sometimes I'll get into like when I was younger, I'd fight with my old man, or I'd have a fight with my sister.
Yeah.
And you know how like you get triggered really fast, and you have an argument, something like that, and at the time you'd just be so angry, but then in that same time you feel like to yourself, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And
I love this person.
yeah, I love this person. And then you start swinging on the pendulum.
Yeah.
And like, I think like, especially with me, like I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I've been able to control it more. The more work that I've done, I've been able to kind of like not get into arguments anymore, especially like in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was younger, like in my 20s, it would take like a few weeks. Like you'd have a fight with someone and then you won't talk to them for a while and then you'd eventually make up and sort it out. But having that power to be like, all right, we've had an argument, we've triggered each other, but I can see past that, and I'm not gonna let that affect my inner state and being.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hurt that person.
Yep.
Because that's not constructive.
It's not.
No. That's helped me immensely with my life. It really has. Like, especially when I was younger, I would snap a lot, especially with like close family. Like we'd trigger each other out of spite, but it doesn't happen anymore. It really doesn't. Like I don't. Not that I would say I enjoyed it, because it's not an enjoyable experience. But I tend to stay out of that vibration these days. Like I do everything in my being to make sure that it doesn't get to that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it does take a lot. Like it does take time, it does take knowledge and all that kind of stuff.
It does.
I do see it in a lot of people that they thrive for situations of conflict like that.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in a victim mindset.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of power in being able to control your feelings and your reactions.
Yeah.
So much power.
Big time. Big time. But you had to explore the darkness in order to know that as well.
100%, dude.
And that's a whole different thing. It's a whole problem with certain parts of our society which completely abstain as well and say you shouldn't feel this way. And then they repress that, and then like it all comes back hard the other way.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
you can't repress things. You have to let them pass.
Or you gotta get in the mud.
Yeah,
and go through that journey to come back the other way.
Yeah, true that, man.
And that's polarity. It's the understanding of both. That you have to understand both to actually know that you're actually on that pendulum swing.
True.
And that you can actually oscillate between the two through that wisdom. Wisdom is higher than knowledge. Knowledge is just like rote learning. Like wisdom is the actual experience.
Correct. Yeah.
Through like
it's prac.
Yeah. It's getting your ass kicked.
Exactly.
It's like it's unexpected moments of like insight that come from like, you know, mostly years of like fucking up.
Yeah. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
Through failure.
Yeah.
As well. So.
Yeah. Plan's not going to plan.
Yeah. What's there to learn from that?
Yeah. That's the middle way. Yeah.
Definitely a very powerful principle there.
Yep.
The fifth power, or the fifth principle, is rhythm. The principle of rhythm.
Closely related to polarity.
Very much.
We just talked about it.
Yep. Everything flows in and out. Oh, everything flows out and in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum, The pendulum swings. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates.
Yep.
And we did discuss this in the last one.
We did. Yeah.
And they're quite interlinked.
Very interlinked. And I just had an epiphany just from you just reading that just then.
I fucked it up too.
Well, no, you said it just right for me to actually illustrate this point. Is that it's describing universal law. It's like the measure to the left is the measure to the right. There's like measurements are universal constants.
100%.
They're mathematical constants. Like a foot is a foot. Like
a meter is a meter.
A meter is a meter. It's not someone's foot. It's not someone's meter or description of a meter. These are constants.
Yeah.
And we see them everywhere. Like, we just talked about the markets. For every down, there's always going to be an up.
Exactly.
And it's equal to, like, what we've seen with the Bitcoin market recently is that that extreme high met with this like long low now.
Exactly.
like oh my god, it's gonna keep going up. Moonshot. And,
at that time when it was moonshot, and I'm like, oh, is it time that I pull out?
Yeah.
I should probably pull. I didn't. I just left it. I probably shouldn't.
You can't make it up. These cycles keep happening.
Mate, that's why this astrologer lady, she full talks about it.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's very true, man.
It's very true.
It's very true. Rhythm compensates.
Yeah. And so Kybalion describes people who have learned the law of neutralization, which is someone who's reached a certain level of personal development can rise above the swings.
Wow.
And not be deterred in such a way. I know some such characters. Yeah, definitely met quite a few of these people. Like they often come with a certain sense of serenity. They're not governed by their emotions.
You can feel their vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, around them. I know a few people like that too.
Yep.
They're cool cats.
Yeah, you can just tell.
Very calm and collected. Very
calm and collected.
At ease. Anti-fragile even.
Even their anger is pure.
Yeah. well, then when you want to experience it properly.
Experience it properly.
Yeah. For my notes in regards to rhythm, I've wrote, everything and everyone is cyclical.
Yeah.
Good weeks, bad weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Negative rhythm is a destroyer. Days, weeks, months, years, everyone's different. When you're at the peak of your happiness, or when you're at the peak of your happiness rhythm, your excitement rhythm, embrace it, accept it. When you're in a negative rhythm, try to reject the thoughts as much as possible, but be aware of it.
Yeah.
So, I think that can help.
Rejecting is too strong a word, because I don't think you. It's like trying to think about not having it. It's like trying to think about not thinking. Sometimes.
And that's going to manifest it more.
It will manifest it more.
Yeah.
It's like, because you're creating a magnet for that. I think. I think the law of mentalism comes back into it. It's like, no, that shit feeling, that is me. Yeah. And I will just transmute that energy.
Yeah.
Using its opposite.
That's true, because for these notes I did them pretty quickly on the way when you got here. But like in regards to rejecting something, like you said, that is quite a harsh word.
Gives energy to it.
It gives energy to it. Like to be aware of it, and just to be aware of it. That's probably just as powerful.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, the pendulum swings, and for you to have an awareness of it can then potentially stop you from having such bad days.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that they'll be on a high, and then it'll come with a subsequent low.
Yeah.
And the low can last a long time, and they'll be in this pit of depression, and they'll try to get out of it, but they're not aware of it. They'll just stay in it, and they'll continue manifesting that. We've been 3 hours. We've done 3 hours now. Just 3 hours. Yeah, we're tired. We'll wrap this up soon. We're nearly there.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I'll definitely say that rejecting it is not a right word to use, because you can't reject it. You have to feel it. You have to experience it. You have to essentially embrace that.
Yeah.
And be aware of it and be like, this doesn't serve me. I don't want to stay at this vibration. And then actively, consciously do something about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is you.
Yeah.
It's like
all aspects of you.
This height is not separate from you. This low, like the lowest low, like in hell, is not separate from you either. You're Lord. You could be Lord of Hell or Lord of Heaven.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you want to be.
Yeah. 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 But one thing is for certain, it's immutable. There are rhythms everywhere. And it's like you can choose to be carried off, or you can choose to rise above. Yeah.
Rise above, brother.
Yeah.
Rise above.
Rise above.
100%. Now the sixth, the principle of law of cause and effect.
Yep.
Cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized.
Mm-hmm.
There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law.
Yep. Yep. This has become accepted in many circles now.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
This one's a huge one.
I mean, as kids, we've been told many ways. We've been told in many ways what that is. Every action has a reaction.
Yep.
You know, it's like what else? It's like, oh, it's karma.
Yeah. Karma, that's a big one.
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah. It's like, you know, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Like we hear these things all the time, like
Yeah,
in
we
our
do.
head. Unconsciously we just put it in the back of our heads, like, oh, this is just like how the world works. In fact, universal law, and one of them is cause and effect. And we don't live in a random universe, though many things are happening. Even the most seemingly elusive concept has many different causes. The Big Bang is one of many causes, maybe many causes before that, which caused that.
Exactly.
And has been the larger cause of everything we can see here now.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can't escape it, I guess.
You can't.
But you can choose which causes create effects.
That you can.
Through the law of mentalism, because mentalism is the most important one. I think
That is.
because that's the acceptance of God, or like the all.
Yeah.
Because without it, you can't change any state if you don't think you are not capable.
I guess that's why it's the first one.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
most important. Everything comes from that itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Notes I wrote for this one is the future effects that you will receive will be based on your current thoughts and actions of today.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, the life you live today is really only the effect of negative or positive thoughts months, years, decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
Also could be subconscious conditioning that your parents have given you in your childhood.
Yeah.
This is why it's important to seize control of your subconscious mind. When you realize that nothing is random and everything is created by your thoughts and mental creations,
Yeah.
you have to be very careful of what you think about.
Yep.
And it goes back, like you said, it goes back to the principle of mentalism.
Yep. Be very careful. Your thoughts are more important, probably just as important as your actions. Because no, they are more important because you don't make actions unless you have thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where it originates from.
Yeah.
Thoughts.
Yeah.
Ideas. Yeah, that damn Hitler.
Yeah. But just on thoughts, I mean, that's where, the word thought probably comes from Thoth.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think Billy Carson talks about that.
Yeah.
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 The thought.
I mean, so many other ones. Sunset, set. God's set of darkness and brought sunset.
It made its way to English language.
Sure did.
That's how powerful that stuff is, man.
Amen comes from Amen Ra.
Yep.
Just like that. That blew my mind.
Yeah. There's so many hidden things in the words that we speak that we don't know.
Yeah.
It just fascinates me, dude.
It does.
It really fascinates me.
Hermetically sealed.
Yeah. It's going to be for me, it's going to be a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
But it's a journey worth, it's worth the cause. It's worth it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is.
I strongly believe that it's very, very much worth it. That seek of knowledge.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. After we describe the final law, we'll have to describe like what we are as humans in this whole thing and why we're here. Why we're here. What reason are we here as a result of the teachings of Hermeticism? What does it think the human story is?
Definitely.
Well, it is. I think should we I think I should talk about it before we talk about the final law.
Go for it.
So, we're here not by accident at all. In fact, we're here due to a possible punishment. We were actually divine beings. We were separated from Source because we thought we were God or something of that sort. Then the All or God, whoever, instructed the gods to create the Zodiac, which gives us destiny. And so it gave us certain parameters to live in, one of them being to be enclosed in flesh and thrown into the world. Wow. And right before, the Corpus Hermeticum talks about right before this moment, we all screamed in absolute terror at the idea of being mortal, because we're immortal beings. And the thought of being like imprisoned completely broke our minds. And so our whole perspective is to actually get back to Source. Like that's what all these principles are about.
Getting
like
back to Source.
Yeah. It's what all religion is for. It's what all striving is for. Even those unconscious people who think, I don't believe in religion, or I don't believe in like afterlife. Yet I still want to like walk around like a king or God on earth, like all these like all these symbolic notions.
You're gonna reincarnate again, mate.
Yeah. Like these like, well, they want to live in these symbolic notions of like, at least if God doesn't exist, then I can be God. You know? Yeah.
Man, that was huge, dude. That was huge.
Yeah.
I've got a few mates that say I'm not coming back again. I'm doing the work this time, and I don't want to come back. I don't want to reincarnate again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we keep getting reincarnated until we learn our lessons.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The curse is immortality, to be honest. That's never done with.
Well, that's what the gods always said. They go, I envy the people because they are mortal.
Yeah.
They envy us. But this could be a punishment.
Yeah.
Very much could be a punishment.
Yeah.
And to some very deeply spiritual friends that I have, they do feel that way. Yeah. And that's why they're obsessed with doing the work and being the best positive like version of themselves and doing everything the right way, or the right way that they see.
Mm. It's hard in a morally grey world of polarities.
It is. That it is.
Yeah.
But dude, you just blew my mind with that. That hit the nail on the head, dude.
Oh, I mean, like why are we here, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest question.
Why are we here? And it's like you had no choice in whether you were born. Like, what the hell?
That's right.
What the hell's with that?
We didn't have a choice. We just grew up here.
It's like what's this all for? I mean, like, honestly, if I had a choice, I'd just be like, well, I'd rather be a spectator. I'd just rather watch the show. I don't
No clip.
No clip.
Just go around.
Yeah, no clip, bro. Like, you'd be God mode, just like watching it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you gotta like live this kind of like role. You know? Maybe it's like Alan Watts. It's like you're just playing the game. Eventually, you get tired of the of winning all the time, and like, what if we want to make this game a little bit harder?
Yeah. Well, he says like, if you dream a dream, and within that dream, you live 100 lives, or you do 75 years. You dream the first time, and you live an incredible life. You build whatever, like an Inception,
Yeah.
And then you come out and you go, wow, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then you do it again. Another 75 years. And I'm probably killing it right now. Like it's not. I can't remember it.
I remember it perfectly.
But
yeah, this is like one of the first videos I ever watched.
Yeah, with Alan Watts.
Like,
I watched this like 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you keep dreaming and you keep having these dreams. Eventually, you will dream of where you are here today.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind when I heard that. I was just like, wow. So live your best life here. Yeah. This is what we've got.
Demigod, man.
Yeah. 100%.
Demigod. Yeah.
Do you dream a lot?
Yeah, recently actually.
Yeah. I've been dreaming like every night. Remember my dreams, write them down.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful. I feel like there's even subconscious, like, they tell you things.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I've had some strange ones too.
Yeah. It's,
yeah.
it's almost like a tool from the spirit guides.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Can I tell you about one I had?
Yeah, of course you can.
I had a dream about someone I know quite well whose father died. I'd never met the father, but he was in the dream.
Wow.
And he was upset that she died. No, it wasn't. But it was weird because we're at a dinner table.
Yeah.
And she was there at the dinner table across from him, but he looked sad that he couldn't like speak to her or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a kind of death of communication more so than her not being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
It was very strange. I'd never met this man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had dreams like that
Yeah.
where I possibly was the person that passed away,
Yeah.
and I was a figure in their life,
Yeah.
and I was like like reliving a moment in that person's life. It was very strange. And then the love and admiration that they gave to me was similar to the person that I'd never met this man.
Oh.
And it's quite perplexing. But man, I have vivid dreams every night.
Every night.
Every night. I don't know what's going on. Like, I actually had a dream last week, about 5-6 days before my chickens died, before they got killed by the fox, that they got killed.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, it must have meant a lot to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And it started wigging me out because I'm like, are they going to die?
Really?
And then the day before the fox killed them, I sat down with them and I literally said my goodbyes to them.
Really?
My subconscious mind knew that it was going to happen. Yeah.
Ah, shit.
And I spent some time with each one of them. I put some of this dichromaceous earth on them, which is like this powder that gets rid of all their fleas.
Yeah.
Did a general health inspection on them and all that kind of stuff, and then just spent some time with them. And a part of me knew that they were going to go.
Yeah.
And when I came back and saw feathers everywhere and they were dead, I realized that this was meant to happen.
Mm.
It was very strange. It was very strange. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Oh man, they call that a sixth sense, maybe.
My sister's a psychic,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. Who knows? I think we can all tap into that.
I think so, man. Like there's animal energies there, maybe that, maybe like you hooked up to that frequency.
Maybe they're like, "Come on, save me." Who knows?
Come on, motherfucker! Click.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. That's it.
Now, the seventh principle is the principle of gender.
Yeah.
Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes.
Yep.
I'll read the notes and then we can go into it. Gender, very important. Feminine is the subconscious mind and the masculine is the conscious mind, right? You must impregnate your subconscious mind with your conscious mind.
Mm.
Be careful what you feed your subconscious feminine mind. Use your masculine mind with emotion, power, and life force to truly impregnate your subconscious mind with a very powerful thought.
Mm.
By doing this, the principle of cause and effect will take place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. It's weird that this is like the seventh law because it actually is probably the strongest among all. It's like it gives rise to all the polarities and everything we just talked about.
It does.
Like the best materialistic example of that is like a positive negative charges on a battery. Without these opposites, there is no like energy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually the most difficult one to describe like accurately because we always talk about sex, but it's beyond that. It's like well beyond that.
Yeah.
and that we all have these qualities. It kind of clicked to me when you said, yeah, it's like one represents your conscious mind, the other the subconscious. So your left brain and your right brain. An integration of both these sides, both your feminine qualities and your masculine qualities balance, often comes across beautifully in like great sages and teachers and people who would like bring healing to the world. Like they can bring energy as well as preservation in many different ways, and those are masculine and feminine qualities, no matter how you say it.
Yeah.
In our society today, we get very bogged down into saying, "Oh, well, you can't say that's a woman's role or a man's role." It's like, well, identification. It's like, well, in most cases, these things sort of happen sort of naturally. It's like you find women like to preserve and talk about their emotions, while men are driving at something, often trying to climb mountains or something. There's some desire to like break through a mold, while women's is more about a woman's most like pertinent feminine qualities are about preservation and building and creating art and things like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's tough,
the principle of gender. A very tough one, and I can understand why it's the seventh.
Well, I've been looking at Hermeticism for 2-3 years now, and I still don't fully understand gender. It's a very hard one to actually
conceptualize.
Because it's the most it's like the gateway of the fully enlightened being. It's like maybe you're not at that level of Crash Bandicoot yet. You don't have enough crystals. You can see the gate. You can see the gate. You can't say nah.
You can't go in there.
Yeah, you can't go in there.
Yeah. I reckon. Yeah. Especially in this world now where the whole gender thing's kicking off as well. Yeah. So that's a whole thing in itself.
But they're actually right. It actually gives me kind of bliss to know that, like, you know that whole thing about genders, like hard set gender roles don't exist.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, they're actually not completely wrong, because you're right. It's like if you're only describing gender by your genitals, then you forget that there's actually masculine and feminine qualities in everybody.
Within everybody, exactly.
But the error is where top down organizations say, or what do you identify as though that's meant to be like something set in stone.
Yeah. I feel like maybe the last 100 years we've been living in a masculine dominated world.
Yeah.
Very hyper masculine, and I feel like right. That's just showing rise to the feminine within itself. Just by me saying that, there is a rise in the feminine, and I believe it is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Because all of us need to have balance within divine masculine and divine feminine frameworks.
Yeah.
To be a whole person.
Yeah.
We need both, and
big time.
Yeah, I think like we have to give rise to the feminine.
Yep.
It's catching up now.
It's true. Though we live in what these teachings kind of teach us is that there is no good and bad.
Yep.
Like either can be very negative or very positive.
Of course.
I can give you an example of really bad examples of femininity gone out of control. Like, like a mother complex, which is like completely overbearing.
Yep, an overbearing mother.
This is like, the talk of like Carl Jung and Freud and like all these other...
Yep.
Heard the story about a grandmother which like locked her grandson in like a basement for like 20 years because she was like afraid he would like be hurt in the outside world.
Jeez, that's devastating.
Yeah, I think it can manifest. It can manifest in the caring feminine too.
Of course it can. Yeah,
that darkness is not the avenue of just one. Like it can be extreme in either or.
Exactly.
And the balance, we seek balance all the time.
That pendulum, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pendulum. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That is a big one though.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, that's the seven Hermetic Principles.
That's it. And what it tells us is that there's no holy evil. I mean, you can watch all the Jeffrey Dahmer serial killer shows all you want. It's still just like displaced ignorance. Like it's like had that had his mechanisms, his brain chemistry been different, might have been a different person. Like it's just like the cards were dealt in such a way that a being of like complete misguidance had occurred, you know?
Yeah. I watched one episode of that show and I'm like,
It's pretty intense.
I don't know. I didn't watch the rest of it.
I've seen it all, yeah.
Yeah. Would you recommend I keep watching it?
Just for like if you like Mindhunter, you kind of just like the interplay of like, you know, the extremes of human experience, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously I didn't feel good watching the show. It's pretty
cool.
Pretty cool show. Man. But like at the same time, it's like there's always inquiry. Like obviously it happened in real life, so I can't like not check out.
Yeah.
Try to find out what happened.
That actually happened? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
True story.
It's
fucking crazy.
Scary shit, but that's like we're all related to these through DNA. Like we're all related to these like really like absurd things.
Of course.
And like all the heaven and hells are within us.
Within us, exactly.
And,
Yeah, as above, so below.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Well, thank you for coming and you know, sitting down with me and talking for 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
This is a record, mate.
Yeah.
This is a record.
Yeah.
We went through heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Fucking legend.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And maybe next time I can get a couple other people on there and we can go deeper.
We'll go nuts, man. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming. And thank you for watching, guys. It's if you've made it till this long.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Same, man.
Yeah.
Got into some deep stuff. We could have gone deeper.
Yeah, we could have.
It's a very difficult topic to explain in one sitting. Topic,
but I think people will get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. It's deep.
All right, guys. See you.
Peace and love.